Good Wednesday morning. I almost did my Monday morning routine. I was like, wait, it's not Monday, it's Wednesday. Oh, funny. I'm a little bit under the weather. So a little slow to get out of bed this morning, which is the perfect tie-in to what we're going to be talking about today, which is letting go and surrendering. So I'm letting go the need to wake up at 7 a.m. Uh, on my day off. So, what are we talking about today? Let's see. There's a lot of energy rolling around right now. And I don't think I'm having ascension symptoms because my daughter was definitely sick over the weekend. So I'm probably picking up what she's putting down. And I just came from a summit yesterday where I was supporting 200 people doing breath work. So I'm sure being in a room with, like a whole bunch of like realtors who got on planes and got off of planes and probably are all like nestled in this little cesspool of germs doesn't help either. So a lot of energy too with that, a lot of energetic pool. So I'm definitely taking it easy today. And so what we're going to talk about, yes, there's a lot of energy in the air right now. A lot of solar flares. Like, even if you don't believe in the energy uh, part of, like I say, how can you not really believe in energy? But it is proven with physics and quantum theory and science. But energy in and of itself, like if you don't really buy into that everything is energy, you know about the solar flares. Even in the news, they're talking about how the solar flares are messing with our Wi-Fi. It's messing with our cell signals. Like yesterday, I barely was able to get on my phone because it was so bad. So, and you see the auroras that are coming all the way down to Texas, damn near. So it's like you know that there's stuff going on, right? Like if even if you're living under a rock, you know that things are going on right now. So the energy is really I don't want to say frictiony, but it's very up and down right now. So, what this means for a lot of light workers is that we're receiving codes, we're receiving information. Here comes my cat because every time I start to talk, he likes to come up here. Um, we're getting a lot of messaging and upgrades and stuff. So, this can also be very taxing on the system. Um, But it's the good news is we're coming back to us. We're coming back to who we were before we started to pile on all the layers of you know, conditioning and programming and thinking that we weren't good enough or, like whatever. So, that being said, when we're talking about conditioning, and we're talking about programming, so we didn't come out of the womb thinking, I'm not good enough or I can't do anything, be anything I want to be, right? Like these are all things that were imposed on us, whether it be by your caregivers, by society, by friends, like teachers. Um, we're constantly being told, you can't do that. It won't work out. Like, you got to do this in order to do that. So we make decisions about ourselves that, like you're not good enough, you'll never be good enough, I'm not worthy of this. And so it starts to create this program in the back of your head. And it runs and runs and runs, and it dictates unconsciously, like it's an automatic program. We are in this like it's an automation. Like think about AI, where you have a trigger point, like somebody puts in their email address to something and it triggers something else. Like it um, triggers an email out to them. Like you're running in this automatic pattern. Um, and so it's going on in the background. And so it dictates how you're going to talk to people. It dictates your relationships. It dictates how you're going to show up in life, how you do your work, how you show up in business, how you show up in sales, how you even drive in traffic, like how you interact with people at the grocery store. So, um, the biggest falsity that we live in our life is that we have control over things. And so, yes, in a sense, we do have control over us. We have control over our bodies. We have control over what we think. Although we tend to give up that control. We just let it run. We let it run off of the programs that we were set up with. So we think that we are safe in certain things. Like if you know, the biggest probably transition for anybody that's going into entrepreneurship is coming from the worker, like the W-2, the corporate job, and transitioning into entrepreneurships, being their own boss. So what we have to understand with that is that we, even in a W-2 job, even in corporate America, we think that we have this certain level of control. We know that a paycheck's going to come every week or 2 weeks or however often you get paid, right? We think we're always safe in the fact that that job's going to be there. We think we have, um, like again, like it's security. Like we think that it's going to be there every single day. However, what happens when the government decides to shut down the sector of your job one day and then everybody's laid off? What happens when your company decides that it's going to be downsizing and it lays off half of its workforce, or it decides that like they are moving in a different direction and no longer need your department? So when you set all your eggs in that basket and then all of a sudden the carpet's pulled out from underneath you, guess what? You never really had control, did you? So our brain does not like this. Like it thinks it wants structure. It wants formulas. It wants to know that it has a say in the outcome, or to think at least it does. This even comes true with spirituality, with religion, with whatever you want to call it. Like, technically, spirituality all comes down to the same thing. Like, you have a set of rules that you want to live by so that you can think that you're a good person or whatever, right? Like, you're in the end, you're going to be rewarded for good behavior. Essentially, right? Like, coming down to like the basic bones of every religion, every set of spiritual rules out there, right? So your brain is very comfortable in thinking that, in that if then type of way. If I do this, then this will happen. If I do this, I will get this in the end, right? So when we are looking towards a goal, when we are trying something new, when we are going out into the throes of entrepreneurship, which again, like it's very challenging to the brain. Like it's that change, it's going to see it as dangerous. And talk to all your friends too, like, or your parents or whatever, like your family members. Talk to them about going out in entrepreneurships where you're leaving a cushy job where you're making six figures or whatever and transitioning to this thing where you don't know if your next month is going to be high or low, right? Like they will tell you, but what if this happens, right? Like that is their own subconscious programming coming out. Like they think that they're protecting you by telling you all the scary stories, right? When actuality, like it's not helpful. So when we're frantically trying to control every single outcome, we actually end up repelling it. We're pushing it further away. Like, think about this. You have a handful of sand, right? And you cup the sand and you're very ginger with the sand and you're like you're holding it in a softened way, like you know it's there, it's going to be there, like it's safe in your hands. The sand will stay, right? Minus like a few little, like if the wind blows a little bit or you know, like you adjust your hand, right? But it's basically the sand's going to stay in your hand. Now, think about when we start to pour all our energy into that sand, into striving and convincing and pushing and forcing and trying to fit the square peg in the round hole, and we start to like bring our fingers in, like clenching, and we clench that sand, what's going to happen? It's going to start to spill out. It's going to start to like less and less is going to be in your hand, right? Because you're clenching it so hard. So, the biggest paradox that me, myself, even I had to overcome this. Like, I had to get this right in my mind. And thus also why I'm taking a lot more rest now. But is that the secret actually lies in doing less. Like the universe has this funny way of delivering exactly what we desire, but not when we're chasing it, not when we're clinging to it, but actually more so when we release our grip. So, excuse me, I'm so stuffy. But with clinging to something, and so like when we're releasing the control, when we're starting to surrender to things, like think about um people that have been in fertility treatments forever, that they so badly wanted a baby, so they went and did the IVF like 2 or 3 rounds, and then they just finally decide to stop, or that they're going to adopt, and they put in the adoption application, and all of a sudden they get pregnant. How many people have you heard that happen to? Or you're looking for love, like you're so desperately looking around, and you're like out on the dating sites and you're sending messages, and you're like you're going on a date every week, or a date 2 dates a week, right? Like we're clinging to that. We need a partner. I can't be alone. I can't do this on my own, right? Like I need somebody there. And then you finally are like, you know what? I give up. Like I'm done trying. Like I'm fine being alone. I love myself as I am. And then all of a sudden this person drops into your life. The perfect relationship. And maybe it didn't turn out to be perfect in the end, but like that person just all of a sudden dropped, like on a silver platter. Like you just automatically like meet somebody, or somebody sets you up with somebody, and it just works, right? So and I love, Jackie, I love that we got into this conversation earlier in the week about Alan Watts. So I did post a video on Alan Watts on the art of surrender, right? Like basically that the most profound changes occur not through effort, not through frantic effort, but more through the power of the pause, right? Like um his whole thing is like your vibration level is going to dictate, and I've talked about this so much before, but like this is also a quantum thing. Like your vibration level is going to dictate what you're getting in life. At that level is where you're going to be. It's going to show like everything in your life. You can see everything in your life based on where your vibration level is. You can see if your money is low, it's because you're vibrating low. If your relationships are low, it's because you're vibrating low. Like everything, you are setting up your life based off of your energy, your vibration level. So Alan Watts, he's a master at reminding us what we think is real and true, good and bad, whatever. Like that's all a mental construct. And I think I've talked about this like last week or the week before, but our thoughts about who we are, our identity, our status, our fears, our plans, they're all illusions. They're created by our ego. Again, things that we were told when we were young. So when you raise your vibration, it begins by realizing that this mental noise is not actually you. It's not your true self. When you observe your mind without clinging to the chatter, your vibration naturally rises. So again, when we were talking about like that thought just went right out of my head. My goodness, I guess it wasn't meant to be talked about. But something I said at the beginning about the thoughts. Yeah, the control of your thoughts, right? Like we do have control over our thoughts. Like we can choose a different thought, right? And that's where you start to take back your power. So, oh boy. But like, so Watts talks a lot about like suffering. Like suffering is not actually caused by the events themselves, but actually our resistance to them. So, um, it is our choice if we want to stay in the suffering, if we want to stay in the muck, in the muddy water, right? Like, if you stop trying to change and control and avoid what is, and instead allow yourself to actually fully feel and flow with the moments, you start to step into an alignment. This basically it's non-resistance. It's a high vibrational state. It's presence, it's peace. So when we get into the illusion of control, like much of what we try to control, like our future, our like we do try to control our emotions. We try to control other people. We think that if, like they only again, we go back to a couple weeks ago when we talked about expectations. Like if we can try to control the like we expect somebody to act a certain way. And that's actually why you have a problem. Right? Like we expect things. We expect a brother, a sister, a spouse, a friend, a mother, a father. Like we expect them to act a certain way. And it's only then that they don't act that way that we get disappointed. So that stuff, that's outside of our control. And so this gets into a territory where like it's kind of fuzzy, but like our emotions, like we do have control over our emotions. So Watts does talk about like we try to control our emotions, and that's where we get in the sticky stuff. But like it's emotions come from the thoughts that we think, the feelings, the actions, all of that. It's because of a thought that we think. when you think about having a thought about something, so think about being out like shopping or something, or like gardening, and you're having like, fine time, like do do do, just going on with your day, don't even care like whatever's going on in the outside world. And your friend calls you and was like, "Oh my God, did you hear the news?" So until you got that news, until you were alerted on that thing and then had a thought about it, like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened, you would have never known. Like, you wouldn't, like, that situation, that thing would have had no agency, no, it wouldn't have even mattered until you had the thought about it, right? So when you have the thought, which then triggers the emotion or the feeling about it, which then triggers the action about it, right? So the thoughts you can't control. And I'm not saying not ever think a negative thought, right? Like, I'm saying, like, have the thought, recognize the thought, acknowledge the thought. Is the thought beneficial to me? Can I actually think something else about this? Can I change this into something more supportive? Is it beneficial for me to think that I'm not enough? Or whatever the thought is that continues to roll through your head, right? Just unconsciously. So letting go control means actually trusting that life is unfolding for you, through you, by you, not against you. So when you surrender the need to steer everything, you actually become more empowered, more peaceful, more magnetic, right? Like, you start to attract the things that you actually want. So when you're doing, when the power of the pause is like something that every entrepreneur that I've talked to, every successful entrepreneur I've talked to, talks about. Like, honestly, this is confirmed. Like, this is not just hubbub, right? I'm not just talking nonsense here. It's when they actually released the control, the, need for a certain outcome, a need to get to that outcome in a certain way, right? When things started flowing, things start to unfold and explode when you release the grip. And I know, like, everybody's going to be like, if I don't have goals and I don't do things and I don't go get them and like hustle and grind and blah, 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 or whatever, like, everything's just going to fall away and I'm never going to hit my goals anyway. But let me ask you, how is that actually working for you? How is it working for you, the hustle, the grind, like, even when you're tired, just pushing through and doing the things that you don't want to do and that are not comfortable for you and are outside of your comfort zone? Like, how is that actually working? Tell me. For some people, like, they can actually push through for a little bit and then their body breaks down on them. I heard something interesting recently because, like, I am a big believer in, like, our emotions are the big cause of a lot of ailments that go on inside of the body. And they talked about how autoimmune disease, the number one reason for it is the need to be right. And you know what, Jackie? I think this was, what was that woman's name that you sent me? I was listening to her YouTube video. Let I'm going to look it up because I don't want to butcher her name. Carolyn Miss. So, what's beautiful about this is the universe had Jackie said Carolyn Miss to me, who talks a lot about the mystical part and medical intuition and all that kind of stuff, right? Like, um, she sent a YouTube video for me, and no more than probably 6 hours later, somebody else at my work came to me and was like, "Have you heard of Carolyn Miss? I was just reading one of her books." And I was like, "What?" Like, I feel like, wait, I heard this name. Like, and then I went back and I was like, oh my gosh, I guess this is something that I meant to, dive into. So just love how the universe does it. It's little synchronicities, it's little messages, right? Like, but are you paying attention to the messages? It's the important part. So back to the message at hand. We think that we're if we give up, if I say give up, but like surrender. Like if we actually give up the control, right? If we give up the hustle and flow, that we're just going to let it slip through our fingers, right? But that, again, that's the big paradox. Like every time I've come back to a retreat, from a retreat, like feeling rested and in flow and good and just like soaking up all the goodness that, like experiences and connections and all that. Like my vibration level is so high, and you know when I'm doing the retreat, like yes, I have some classes that I'll still teach, or like coaching that I'll still do when I'm out there, but like giving up that need for the hustle, and then coming back, like every single time I come back, so many good things just like come to me. Like clients come, connections come. Like again, I just went and helped with this breathwork class yesterday morning for 200 people for a big real estate conference summit, whatever, in the JW Marriott, one of the bigger hotels downtown, like one of the biggest actually. All of that stuff, like I call it in when I'm in flow, when I'm not in the struggle, in the grind, right? Like this is when you're in that surrender, you're allowing things to open up for you. You're allowing the universe to deliver. You're open to receiving it too. Because when you're so focused on the way things have to be, and it has to be this way, and I have to get this in order to get that, and blah, blah, blah. Like you are completely blocking and shielding yourself from any outside possibilities. So it's not about giving up. It's about shifting from forcing to flowing. It's trusting. It's allowing. More truly shows up when you release that hold, or on how it has to appear. So I'm already over time, but I could talk about this forever. But something I did on my Monday message. If you're not on my email list, you should definitely get on that so you can get these little pocket coaching every Monday. But I did a little heart opening exercise. So we can do that right now, actually. It'll be a couple minutes. So I want you to just, if it is safe to do so, just close your eyes. And go ahead and put a hand over your heart center, right over your heart. And if it's not safe to close your eyes, you can absolutely just soften your gaze, but just take some nice deep breaths all the way down into your belly. Just really sinking into your body. And just go ahead and see your grounding cord from your root chakra connecting all the way down to the center of the earth as you continue to breathe deep. Then feeling your crown open up and connecting you to Source, to the universe, to God, whatever that is for you. And just allowing the energy from Mother Earth and from Source to run down inside of your body, mixing and melding with every single cell of your body. And just bring it all down into your heart center. Just feeling your heart center fill up with that energy, with that glow. And just feeling it radiate as the energy starts to get bigger and bigger. Just radiating out from your heart in every direction. And now I just want you to, as you breathe, to simply ask yourself this question and allow whatever comes to mind to just be there without judgment. If the physical body were to fall away, what would be left? And just breathe into that question for a moment. What is left when the physical form isn't there? Just the pure essence, the pure awareness. Just feel it. So, this pause, this deep breath, this connection to your core, to your soul, to your true self, this is where your true power lies. It's from this place of centeredness, from gentle surrender, that you align with the very flow of life. And when you do, you create the space for the things you desire to naturally and joyously and effortlessly manifest. So while you're in this state, you can ask your true self, your true core identity, your soul, what is it that is truly beneficial for me in this moment? What is truly needed at this time? So just sit with that. And maybe one day we'll talk about going into the Akashic records, because we can also get messages there. But just sit with that however long you want to sit with it. So guys, I'm going to end this here because it's just a beautiful way to end this call. And remember, this is something you can do at any time, anywhere, any space. You know, if you don't want to feel like your coworkers are looking at you weird, you can definitely go to the bathroom and go just drop into your center, right? Like, who am I underneath this physical body, this doing, this needing, this pushing, right? And what do I actually need and want? What would be beneficial for me at this present moment in time, right? So I just want to thank you guys. Thank you for being in the community. Thank you for coming to the live or even watching this on the replay. I do have some very fun things that are coming up in the near future. In a couple weeks, we're going to be doing a 3-day reset. And then we'll be doing our healing day on the 22nd. So if you have not already, jump into the registration for those so that you get the updates. And I will be sending out recordings for the 3-day event at least. But yeah, like I really look forward to seeing everybody on those and connecting with you and maybe opening up your mind a little bit more on what's possible. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being here, and can't wait to connect with you further. Have an amazing week. Bye.